7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, Jax Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. I'm your host, Kelsey Huffine. Co-host Richie Jones sitting to the left of me.
Good
and, of
morning.
course, Pops on the opposite side of the camera from us. Guys, we're 3 weeks out from college football now. Week 0 up on, it's coming up real shortly. And then, of course, week 1 right after that. Pops just told me he's going to be out week 0.
Sorry.
So 0 weeks for Pops.
0 weeks for Pops, but he'll be back week 1. As we are finally, we're just itching to get to that point where we are almost there. And nobody muted the TV this morning, but that's okay. We got this button right there for that.
My apologies. That's usually my job.
That's okay. Big news this morning. Pops figured out he has no cankles anymore. He now has veins in his legs.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Congratulations.
Appreciate that, man.
I told you it was big news this morning. That's front news topics right there.
That's like headlines on the radio right there.
It is.
That's that 25 font on the front page of the newspaper. That's usually only set for like major announcements and everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's it.
Speaking of which, I have one later in the show. Major announcement.
Okay.
A sponsor for the show.
Oh,
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
We'll get to that a little later. We'll talk about it.
A sponsor beyond Frost Buddy and Branded Bills are
Although
affiliated.
They're affiliate partners.
Affiliate
That's gotta be
partners?
clear. They're
Sorry.
affiliate partners to the show.
I know. That's what I
Yeah,
said.
This could be this could be a real possible like really take care of us sponsor.
Okay.
All right, cool.
All right, we'll get into that a little later. But before that, of course, we got to talk about what we're talking about today. What would actually get certain head coaches fired? We're going to talk about what could go on during the season, as well as, what records would indicate that, okay, they're out the door. If we're looking into the future and we already know Mike Norvell and Florida State's record, would that get him gone? Or, maybe would it let him stick around for a little bit longer? Of course, we also have the preseason coaches poll released as well. Get into that. And then a lot more later into the show that I'll have to remember and look at of what I actually put up there. Oh, of course, college football villains throughout college football history. We're going to look at those. Just to reminisce a little bit before we start the season. Maybe we get another villain this year, whether it's a Baker Mayfield archetype, maybe a Caleb Williams archetype. Some characters that we could get during the regular season.
And it's fun to me the ones who have been villains that have had an opportunity to kind of counteract that.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield's kind of turned a corner.
He has.
It took 72 commercials.
He was in the right. He got in the right environment. I think it turned it around.
Yeah.
Johnny Football.
Yeah, he didn't
Mr.
turn it around.
Manziel.
No.
Is he a villain?
I mean,
I think he kind of turned it around. I
guess it depends on which team, what colors you wear.
Well, there was a time when there was Manziel stories about him partying in Vegas early in his career and even after his career, but I think he finally settled it down there in Arizona.
You got wow, just completely. Pavia's the current. Well, unless you're a Vandy, if you're a Commodore, he's not a villain, right?
There's not that many of those.
There's like 8 of them.
Pavia was. I would classify him a villain.
If you're an Alabama fan, he's like the top of the list.
His mom
man.
wasn't a villain.
Well, even the article that I read,
she was a main character.
The article that I read, even Saban wasn't clarified as a villain, but you know who was? Steve Spurrier.
Oh, well, of course.
No, if you're an Ohio State fan, if you're a Georgia fan, if you're a Tennessee, Auburn, Saban's a villain.
Oh,
let's be real.
Is he a respected villain?
I think you get respected because at some point in time you just go, you know what? Yeah, I don't like the guy, but dang, he's a good coach.
Yeah.
He's like House Targaryen. You respect him,
Yeah.
because they got dragons. I'm just saying.
Was that a Game of Thrones reference?
Join us Sunday night as Pops and I do our
man.
House of the Dragons
season finale this Sunday.
Oh man,
tomorrow.
I didn't get to. I didn't get into that show.
House Targaryen, man.
I think I watched a season of that and quit.
So you didn't even watch the original, like the OG
Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones?
No.
Wow.
Like a season. And
Let me tell you. You talked about villains, and I'm going to bring this back to villains.
Right.
If the show writers of that show would have had 2 brain cells left at the end of the end of the 7th season, going into the 8th and final season, that show would have been rewatched during COVID more than Friends gets watched now. But because they absolutely dropped the ball on the ending of that show, everybody that was a big fan of it was like, yeah, I'm not going to go watch it again.
It's kind of like Yellowstone. I mean, they dropped the ball on that ending.
Yeah, but Yellowstone kept going with, they've got other sequels and stuff.
Right,
that
they do.
kind of.
Have you watched any of those?
I have not. I haven't watched the first, I watched the first episode of Yellowstone.
That's my point.
Yeah.
I just, never mind. Okay. Hey, I like what Eli Massey has to say about villains. He says, scam Newton.
Scam Newton.
Unless
I don't
you're an
know if
Auburn
Cam's
fan.
I mean, in Florida, maybe. He's
I mean, if you look at it too, with the great and wonderful Scam Newton, not only was he a villain on the field, he became a villain off the field. People that, unless he was on your team, people hated all the craziness with the hats and the hair and everything.
I can't stand him. Watch him now.
And even when he became like a head coach of that little like football league, and how he was talking with the players and talking with the other like the other dads and stuff, and how he thought, do you know, the ultimate way to become a villain is you use the phrase, "Do you know who I am?" Like that immediately makes you a villain. I don't care if you're talking to other, football dads or other coaches or a police officer or anything. You use the phrase, "Do you know who I am?" and you're immediately a villain.
Yeah. All right, Kelsey, you want to get us back on
All right,
track?
guys,
We admittedly
of
dug
course,
into it. Yeah,
we'll get into the college football villains, the best villains of all time within college football later on in the show. But before that, of course, we also have fall camp updates. We're right in the middle of fall camp. 2 days have started. Auburn's getting pampered at some hotel, according to Alex Gullish. That's the news on that. But we got.
I'd like to get pampered.
Well, they're staying at like a 5-star hotel.
like Four Seasons type stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Four Seasons type stuff.
I don't know that I can afford 3 seasons.
Yeah, that's true too. Well, now if we can ever extend the amount of seasons, maybe you could. But of course, a lot to talk about today. So before we get to all that, though, guys, you can hit us up on the show here. If you're on YouTube, just hit us up in the comments section. Same with Facebook, just hit us up in the comments section. If you're on the radio side, 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, Jocks Huntsville over there, you can hit us up. Go over to our X page. You can hit us up on there, Off the Bench CFB. Just send us a DM or tag us. Either one works over there. You can also follow me on there, Kelsey_Huffine, if you want to get all the latest updates with Off the Bench and everything I'm a part of. And that includes Alabama Voice College Football. You can go over there as well and get all the updates with that within X over there. So, as we start off today, what would actually get these head coaches fired? So every August, we label coaches as being on the hot seat without defining what that actually means. Some coaches can survive 7-5 because their buyout is enormous. Others can win 9 games and still face questions because of the expectations attached to their program. Instead of simply ranking the hottest seats, set an exact firing line for each coach. What record gets him fired? What results earn another season? Which factors matter beyond the record, including rivalry games, recruiting, player development, and the direction of the program? So let's start it off. Mike Norvell. We talked about it. We mentioned it earlier. Florida State is going 7-17 over the past 2 seasons, following a 2-10 season and then a 5-7 finish. Norvell is taking back offensive play calling duties from Gus Malzahn over there.
The Gus Bus.
Which makes this feel like the final attempt to personally fix the program. Florida State is opening up against SMU before traveling to Alabama. A 1-2 start is entirely possible before a difficult October against Virginia, Louisville, Miami, and Clemson. So what is the line for Mike Norvell? 5-7, what happens? 6-6, what happens? 7-5, what happens? Or the possibility of a coveted 8-win season?
I may be completely off the reservation with my my take on Mr. Norvell in Florida State, and I have a little bit of I have some backing as to why I believe this. Shy of the ACC championship game, he is out.
I mean, they have committed so much to Mike Norvell, and they have such a high buyout to deal with. Now, in the ACC, it's a little different than the SEC because SEC is not, buyout doesn't give you security. Fans actually liking you gives you security in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
ACC is a little bit different, and they have to deal with the money situation. It's a reason we still have ACC teams within the ACC conference because of buyouts. So I don't think, Mike Norvell, I think it really has to take a dramatic hit to him that says, well, you're not competing this year. And at the same time, though, you just lost probably one of the best offense coordinators in the country. And now you're coming back and saying, well, I'm taking over play call duties. This team's going to be better. Gus Malzahn's no longer there. Gus Malzahn was a good OC, and he came to Florida State, and he never made it a meaningful impact for the team.
Mm-hmm.
Is Mike Norvell, are we actually going to sit here and say Mike Norvell taking over play calling duties is going to make this team better than what Gus Malzahn could do in offense?
You've got, let's think about something here. You start off the season against SMU and Alabama, right? You go 0-2.
But
Okay, you don't recover from 0-2.
They got New Mexico State to open the season.
Okay,
And you go on the then you go to SMU and then traveling to Alabama.
but my point is you've got 2 top 25 teams right off the bat. Okay, you do not go 1-2 and recover from the seasons after week 3. There's no expectations for playoffs.
I mean, if you lose 2 games, all right, you're going to want you win against New Mexico State. Then you go lose against SMU, who SMU looks good this year with Red Lashley. All right, and then you have Alabama after that. If you start out 1-2, those whispers are going to start crawling over there in Tallahassee.
If you lose 2 games before the calendar flips to October, I don't care what team you are, you're in deep trouble.
100%.
So just to go over it real quick, home for New Mexico, we think that's a win, right?
Yeah.
Home for SMU.
It's a tough game.
At Tuscaloosa. Home for Central Arkansas. Home for Virginia. And then it takes a left turn. At Louisville. At Miami. Home for Clemson. At Boston College. At Pitt. And then home for North Carolina State. And then home for Florida.
Well, I mean, I think Florida State has to face a real possibility that 6-6 or 5-7 may be your options right here.
And that doesn't keep Norvell.
Norvell does.
I don't think that keeps Norvell in Tallahassee. No matter how much they have committed to him, Tallahassee's going to find the money.
He would have to play in Charlotte for him to stay.
And I don't think there's a road where the ACC is going to be tougher next year because you have Clemson's at I think 23 right now in the coaches poll.
Yes.
I think that's setting up to have a very bad season. Honestly, I think they brought him. That's definitely media bias, and I know it's the coaches poll, but it's brought up to where he's going to have a top 25 ranking to open the year, and then you're going to see a dramatic fall off for Clemson. It's just the story is written on the wall for that. All right, you still have Miami with Dorian Mensah down there, who may be one of the best. He was the best transfer quarterback in the country, coming from Duke to Miami. Then Virginia Tech over there in the ACC team.
They didn't do anything during the offseason, did they?
Oh, no. Not only do, they may have lost their leading tackler, who's now with Alabama, Caleb Woodson, but they brought in, I don't know, probably the best coach of the coaching cycle in James Franklin.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Comparatively to Lane Kiffin, both are great coaches, but James Franklin was the guy that just was, why was he fired? You know what? Okay, Virginia Tech just, stumbled upon this golden opportunity and probably had one of the best transfer portal classes in the country as well.
They're like nobody wants to take the prom queen to prom. We'll take her.
This guy's won how many career games? He's had how many proven rebuilds? Yeah, we'll take him over here.
Yeah, why not?
So Florida State and Mike Norvell, they're going to have a tough.
And I think the ACC is going to. There is a grand possibility that 365 days from today, the ACC looks dramatically different than what it looks today. You could have Miami solidify itself with its first ever ACC championship. Miami's never won an ACC championship game.
That I didn't know.
Let that sink in for a second.
Well, I mean, they hadn't originally. They were Big East Conference, right? So
and they just but it's the U. You would think, and then they didn't. So you could have Norvell out at Florida State. So Florida State could be looking for a new head coach.
Right.
Clemson could be looking for a new head coach. SMU could turn out to be the third best team in the conference behind Miami and Virginia Tech, who has a new head coach. The ACC could be drastically different when we talk about, especially when we go to the 16 or 24 teams next season, of who from the ACC is actually a playoff team. Because as of today, right now sitting here, how long would it take you to name the teams that are from the ACC that are playoff teams?
Not long. Miami, maybe. That's honestly, I can confidently say Miami or maybe Georgia Tech. Those are the only two teams that I can actually think of and say those teams can make playoff.
SMU.
I would say SMU is second.
Yeah.
I don't even know that because Georgia Tech lost their quarterback King.
But they brought in Justice Haynes.
That's
running
true.
back.
Yeah, but who's going to throw him the ball?
He doesn't have to be throwing the ball. He's going to be handing the ball.
Well, they're going to have somebody that's good enough to hand the ball off because it's still Georgia Tech.
That's true.
But
I still think you got a lot of hype. But I would say that Virginia Tech, Florida State, not Florida State, excuse me, Virginia Tech, Miami, SMU.
I just don't know that Virginia Tech can put it together this season.
Well, it's going to be.
I mean, that's the same as saying LSU is going to put it together this season with all the transfers, new head coach, new everything. Do you legitimately think LSU and Virginia Tech are in the same boat? Big name coaches, big name schools, brought in a bunch of transfers. Their first time ever playing together.
It's going to take a little. I mean, I've had that argument about LSU the whole offseason.
So let me play devil's advocate real quick, right? Okay, how many transfers Bama have come in this year?
I'm actually not sure of the number.
It's 50. Think about 50 new players on that team.
It's actually pretty relative to LSU there.
This is my
LSU
point.
Had like 65.
This is my point.
I'm saying it's pretty
the number's
relative.
like 50, right? 50 new players at Bama, right? We like to drink that Bama Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
We don't know who the starting quarterback is, who the starting running back is. We still haven't solidified the line, but yet we're going to be 10-2. What makes LSU any different, man?
I get, that's a valid point. I think we know both of these quarterbacks are solid.
Yeah.
One of them may be significantly better than the other. From everything I've heard from the offseason, Hill has definitely taken the reins or is definitely penciled in as RB1 right now.
Penciled, right.
Yeah, I didn't mean to derail us with Alabama talk.
No.
But every time I hear this, they're not going to be good. They're not going to be solidified. I'm sitting there thinking, man, look at what Bama's got to deal with this year.
But, I mean, Lord, I guess my thought is the Indiana process. Kirk Cinetti comes in, they're good 2 seasons ago, and then last season put together arguably the greatest season of college football ever. What year 20 whatever Burrow LSU team.
2019.
The 2016 Alabama team who the backup punter got drafted at some point in time, I think. So yeah, I mean, with the transfer portal, there is no longer they recruited a bunch of 5-stars, but they're freshmen and they're going to have to take a time to. So yeah, you're right. I mean, you could look up at the end of the season and Virginia Tech and LSU are 1-2 and headed towards a crazy season.
7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM. Jocks, Huntsville, guys, hot seats. More on the other side. Luke Fickell maybe at Wisconsin. We'll discuss it next year on the Off the Bench College Football Show. We'll be right back.
Say, hey, are ye how, honey? We ain't broke, but we don't come for money. Your supper's on the stove if you're hungry. We get tired on Saturday night and then home Sunday. We're in a church pew. Yeah, we kill what we eat if we have to. If you think we're silly, kind of hillbilly, then you just don't get it, buddy. Must be too country. Say, hey, are ye how, honey? We ain't broke, but we don't come for money. Your supper's on the stove if you're hungry. We get tired on Saturday night and then home Sunday. We're in a church pew. Yeah, we kill what we eat surrounded by fields. Back in BFE, you say, hey, how ye, how honey. We ain't broke, but we don't come for money. Your supper's on the stove if you're hungry. We get tired on a Saturday night, and then on Sunday, we're in a church pew. Yeah, we kill what we ate if we have to. If you think we're silly, kind of hillbilly, then you just don't get it, buddy. Must be too country. Must be too country. Yeah. I was always that boy getting into trouble, sneaking bottles from my daddy's cupboard. At least he knew that my mama tried. Tonight I showed up 10 minutes late, but to me that was early. If I ain't getting paid, then I ain't in a hurry. It's closing time. I'm still ready to drink, 'cause I'm under the influence of Merle Haggard and Waylon. I'm walking down a road near College Station. Can't find my ride, I'm too drunk to drive. I can find my keys, I get a DUI. I'm running on a cheap bottle of old Jim Beam and a half-empty can of nicotine. Under the influence of Hank and I'll SURVIVE.
Seven 30 a.m. 103.9 FM. Jocks Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. I'm your host, Kelsey Huffine. Co-host Richie Jones.
Morning.
To the left of me, and of course, Pops on the opposite side from us. We can see you guys in the comment section. Carl, hit us up. Florida State needs to be good for the health of college football.
There are a handful of big name teams that I agree with that on.
Yeah.
I don't know if Florida State's one of them.
But when you get that Florida State, Notre Dame, the Catholics versus convicts going, that always,
I need one of the three to be good for the health of college.
Well,
football.
I mean, okay.
Florida State, or Miami, just one of them.
One of the three, and you got at least one.
The rest
maybe
of them
two.
can go to.
You got at least one, maybe two there. But at the same time, a lot of people say the same thing about Penn State. We saw what happened when Penn State goes bad. Weird things happen in college football.
Yes.
Teams with never been good before became good instantaneously and won a national championship.
Are you blaming Penn State
For
on
Indiana
winning a national championship?
Yes, they didn't contain them.
1 inch, dude.
You know what?
They didn't contain them.
1 inch.
They didn't contain them within. They didn't contain them within the Big Ten.
You know what?
I think this is a solid theory.
I think this is something we need to go deeper into. That Penn State is the cause of Indiana's rise.
This is one solid theory. I think it's a good theory to work with.
We should travel to Beaver Stadium, and interview the people, and go to a game at Penn State.
So Rudy,
even have to be a
Rudy the
wideout.
boxer, definitely a hashtag Hoosier Daddy, 38-3. Is that Indiana's record over the last couple of years or something?
I don't know.
Y'all can make the jokes all you want. As Alabama fans, one day we'll have to accept it.
Yeah.
No, I mean I've accepted it.
Hey, look, 38-3 is an awesome set of numbers.
Yeah.
So is 18-1.
Yeah. Well, when you're playing North Dakota State every week.
Well, I'm talking about the number of national championships we have versus the number of national championships.
Yeah. And
I'll even let them add their basketball championships. They still ain't there.
Nope. And all the respect, and I said this at the end of last year, Alabama went into the Rose Bowl and got its butt kicked by Indiana. No question about it.
Mm-hmm.
You got an awesome coach at Indiana. But I still look at this and all the national news, sports folks, all this stuff. Okay, when you are scheduling North Dakota State and then you remove teams from your schedule, didn't they just remove Notre Dame or something like that?
I don't remember. It was
one of the headlines this week. They removed one of the top matchups, okay? If you're playing North Dakota every week or or the Alabama School for the Dumb and whatever.
Blind, deaf, and dumb.
Yeah. It's just okay.
Indiana Women's Prison.
Sure, you get to play Ohio State once a year. You get to play Michigan once a year. Cool, okay? But come to the SEC, you're playing a top 25 team every week.
Yeah. I mean, our say what you will, Alabama's schedule is like the 13th or 14th toughest in the country, and we have a 4-week span where it's Georgia, A&M, Tennessee, and LSU.
All back to back.
There's not a schedule in the country that's got anything remotely close to that outside of the SEC.
And we did it last year as well. Yeah, and we've done it the year before. We played Georgia during the season. We play them during the SEC championship. Okay, it just all the respect in the world to the Big Ten. They've won the last 3. Okay, Ohio State's a great team. Indiana's a great team. But once you get below that tier, sure, you got Oregon. They like to flirt with it every once in a while. You got Washington in there. Who am I leaving out here? Penn State, who could have just
Penn State.
Yeah, they could have
Oregon
screwed up everything last year for Indiana.
If
they didn't do it.
If you put in order how they finished last season, 1v1 down the line, the SEC is going to win the overall majority of those games.
Yeah, but what the SEC has to do,
because when you get down to the bottom and it's Mississippi State versus Rutgers,
yeah,
Mississippi State's a 10-point favorite.
Yeah, but what the SEC has to quit doing is every time we get in this college football playoff stuff and we're playing all these bowl games, the SEC, these guys like to set these bowl games and then our teams don't show up for them. You can't be losing these bowl games.
The bowl games are so overrated at this point. We're only a season or 2 from the vast majority of the bowl games being done. There's already been some consolidation of them during this off season. There's been like 3 or 4 of them that have merged together into one bowl game.
Oh my gosh! I'm reading these comments.
Did I miss a comment?
The only reason why the SEC isn't the Big 12 is because of the propaganda the South and ESPN pukes out. All right.
Now, look, I'm not going to completely disagree with that. I have said on this program multiple times that the college football has turned into ESPN versus Fox.
Yep.
ESPN is in bed with the SEC. Fox is in bed with the Big Ten, and it is what it is. And the two are not happy with each other. That's why Fox is and the Big Ten is perfectly okay with expanding the playoff, and the SEC is not, because ESPN doesn't want to try to pay out for 6 more games.
Walker, did we miss a heartbreak here? I think we have. 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM. We'll be right back.
Radio.
That boy getting into trouble, sneaking bottles from a daddy's cupboard. At least he knew that my mama tried. Tonight I showed up 10 minutes late, but to me that was early. If I ain't getting paid, then I ain't in a hurry. It's closing time. I'm still ready to drink, 'cause I'm under the influence of Merle Haggard and Waylon, walking down a road near College Station. Can't find my ride, I'm too drunk to drive. I can find my keys, I get a DUI. I'm running on a cheap bottle of old Jim Beam and a half-empty can of nicotine. Under the influence of Hank and I'm SURVIVE. All my friends have done gone home and I'm sitting here on the sidewalk alone. All the honky-tonks are shutting down. Sun's waking up in my head, it's a hurting. Time to call up one of those blonde-headed nurses, somewhere to sleep, and maybe an IV. 'Cause I'm under the influence of Merle Haggard and Waylon, walking down a road near College Station. Can't find my ride, I'm too drunk to influence of Merle Haggard and Waylon. Stuck in some apartment, don't know the location. Think I lost my keys. Hope they don't tow my truck, 'cause I'm running on a cheap bottle of old Jim Beam and a half-empty can of nicotine. Under the influence of hanging out, SURVIVE. Dipspit sitting in a sun-dried can, cut off tea with a farm stand, trash in the back of a nesting bed, roll tide tattoo right across your chest. People say we're all just ticks, but they get it if they did it like this. Out in the sticks, we say, hey, are ye how, honey? We ain't broke, but we don't come for money. Your supper's on the stove if you're hungry. We get tired on Saturday night and then home Sunday. We're in a church pew, yeah, we kill what we ate if we have to. If you think we're silly, kind of hillbilly, then you just don't get it, buddy. Must be too country. Yeah, we burn a little rubber in the parking lot. Can't get in any trouble if you're friends with the cops. We are who we are, ain't gonna stop. Only listen to our mamas and God. And we say, hey, are ye how, honey? We ain't broke, but we don't come for money. Supper's on the stove if you're hungry. We get tired on Saturday night and then home Sunday. We're in a church pew, yeah, we kill what we ate if we have to. If you think we're silly, kind of hillbilly, then you just don't get it, buddy. Must be too country.
Seven 30 a.m., 103.9 FM, Jocks Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. I'm your host, Kelsey Huffine. Co-host Rich Jones sitting to the left of me, and of course, Pops on the opposite side from us. Guys, we appreciate the comments this morning. Everybody hitting us up. If you want to hit us up, you can do so. Still here. You can hit us up on YouTube in the comment section. Same with Facebook. You can hit us up in the comment section on there. If you're on the radio side, you can move over to X. Hit us up at Off the Bench CFB, or you can tag us there as well, and you can hit me up on X, Kelsey_Huffine, to keep up with the latest news from the Off the Bench College Football Show and everything I'm a part of. Guys, we did leave off. I mean, we were going through comments, everything like that. Rudy the Boxer hitting us up as well as Carl, a lot of other in here. Blindly Squirrel Sports also hitting us up.
Blindly Squirrel Sports?
Yes. Is there any concern about Chris Winkie calling plays for the Bugs, or this transition from Buster Faulkner's offense go well for Georgia Tech? And he also hit us up. Allegedly, Winkie will ask his quarterbacks to do more this year. Although I don't care for the joke by Coke, I'm a little intrigued to see how the younger Mendoza does this year.
That's a lot.
Which
First
I
of all,
wasn't
I'm still
100% aware that the younger Mendoza went to Georgia Tech. That one flew under the radar for me. I knew he was in the portal. Did not know he went and took a job, quarterback job at Georgia Tech.
So that's who's going to be Georgia Tech's starting quarterback, is Mendoza's little brother?
I haven't looked into it completely.
I don't know.
I have to look into it
don't
more
follow
and
Georgia
see.
football.
I don't really follow Georgia Tech football either, but
I do want a hot dog from the varsity though right now. So,
well, yes, yeah.
sorry.
Never had the varsity. I need to go over to the varsity. Yeah, I never had the varsity before. I need to go over there.
You've never had a varsity dog?
No, I've never been there.
Wow.
I haven't. We'll have to look in more to Georgia Tech football and get an accurate answer on that one.
My heart hurts right now.
Your heart hurts right now because I've never been to the varsity. All right, we got to get back into what happened, or excuse me, these what if coaching hot seats, right? So Luke Fickell, Wisconsin. Wisconsin is 16-21 under Fickell and has won fewer games in each season of his tenure. The Badgers have struggled against ranked opponents and have not established the physical identity Wisconsin fans expect. They open against Notre Dame, so the pressure can intensify immediately. So what is the firing line for Luke Fickell? 5-7 or worse, 6-6, 7-5, or 8 wins for Luke Fickell.
What did they win? What was their record last season?
I do not exactly have it under.
It was not great.
Well, they're 16-21 under Fickell.
Yeah.
So it was not a great season last year.
He's got to turn around. He's got to have a winning season this year. He's got to take them to a bowl game, and he's got to. They've got to see progress.
So 6-6, you're saying a bowl game is enough to keep Fickell around?
Let me word it this way: that's the minimum to keep him around.
They were 4-8 last year, 15th in the Big Ten.
4-8 Wisconsin.
15th in the Big Ten.
You can't have a Wisconsin team that's that low.
Wow.
I told you.
That hurts.
It's the Penn State. Penn State was trying to keep everybody in check. That's what happened to Wisconsin, too. And just, when Penn State does bad, Wisconsin gets even worse. I don't know if that theory flies, but I liked my other theory.
Well, what it is Wisconsin has to stay below Penn State.
Yeah.
And so since Penn State dropped so far, Wisconsin's like, well, all right, we got to be below them.
I do have a theory that's unpopular. I poked at this theory a couple weeks ago on my other show, on the Voice of College Football, Alabama Primetime, Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Central Time. I joked with this theory about if Fickell gets fired, Fickell ends up back at Cincinnati. Okay, different conference now. Used to be American, now they're in the Big 12. But here's the other side of that theory in Wisconsin. I think I joked about this with you, too.
Yeah.
I did. Pops, this one's going to be new for you.
Okay.
Brian Kelly ends up at Wisconsin. I think this is a home run hire if this actually goes this way.
The cheese industry will never be the same.
Well, I think Brian Kelly's good enough to be a Wisconsin coach. Long as he keeps him at a consistent 8 or 9 wins.
Okay. So Wisconsin's, like you said, at Notre Dame. That's a tough way to start the season.
And Carl hitting us up to $9.2 million buyout for Fickell.
That's it. Yeah, they got 3 guys that can write that check on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
They don't have to wait for payday to write that check.
Well, the cheese industry's going to get them covered over there.
I know you're getting ready to go through the Wisconsin schedule, but I think
it's pretty
light.
Well,
Notre Dame to start off.
But that's it. They're not
well,
playing.
I know you got Notre Dame. You got
Michigan.
Iowa in there.
They're not playing Michigan. They're not playing Ohio State.
Western Illinois at home.
Okay.
Eastern Michigan at home. At Penn State, so they're 2-2. Home for Michigan State. At UCLA. Home for USC, that's a loss. At Iowa, that's a loss. Home for Rutgers, that's a W. At Maryland's a W. At Purdue is a W. And home for Minnesota. Which is always that's a rivalry game. That's for the Paul Bear's axe.
Yeah.
So that's always fun because they get that big hit at the beginning with Notre Dame. But then if they could come back and yes, you're going to lose to USC and Iowa, especially at Iowa. Sorry, wave to the kids at the end of the first quarter and wave bye to the victory. But then you go 1-2. You got a 4-week stretch there at the end of the season that you could roll off some W's, which would actually be really nice for the W of Wisconsin.
Maryland might be an issue in Maryland.
So they win 7 games, 8 games, maybe.
And obviously 7 or 8 keeps them.
Yeah.
Because that really shows the turnaround and the change. Now, you lose. Obviously, you lose to Notre Dame. You lose to Penn State. You lose at UCLA, home for USC, at Iowa, at Maryland, and then you lose the rivalry game against Minnesota, then there's no it's been a this all season versus we took a dip there at Notre Dame and we had a little rough patch there in the middle, but we ended on a high streak. You do that and he could be out.
So let's go back to the South. So Shane Beamer at South Carolina.
Oh, that
Beamer ball over there. So 2025, they had playoff expectations and then finished 4-8. The Gamecocks retained Lenore Sellers and Dylan Stewart on the defensive line, giving Beamer 2 of the best players in the country at premium positions. The problem is the schedule. South Carolina must play a 9-game SEC schedule and Clemson. So 6-6, 7-5, or 8-4. What keeps Shane Beamer around?
I'm glad you brought up South Carolina. This is my time to tell you about our possible sponsor of the Off the Bench show, Costco.
Costco.
Specifically, South Carolina's Costco, where for the low price of $79.99, you can get 2 season tickets for the South Carolina Gamecocks.
I didn't get the connection there. I think I missed something.
I totally missed something.
So, I'm just letting you know that if you go to your local Costco in the state of South Carolina, you can purchase season tickets. Now, we're not getting a bump off of any of this, but I thought if I sent enough fans of Off the Bench to a South Carolina Costco, they might call us. So it's over for South Carolina. That schedule is just...
It's a rough schedule. I don't know
is-
if they can get through that. I mean, they got the fighting chance against Bama in the odds department, but, you know, they have a lot more than Bama on their schedule to go through. I don't know if, you know, I think an 8-4 season keeps them around. 7-5 is questionable. I think 6-6 he's definitely gone.
But can they even go 6-6 with
That's
that
the
schedule?
question. With that schedule, there's no telling. You know, so, I mean, the early checkpoint, South Carolina is the bye weeks, and is the bye week. So if the Gamecocks
You
are,
got to be careful about that bye week. They're undefeated.
well, if the Gamecocks are at least 4-2, the pressure could be, it could get questionable with the 2 losses and then the rest of their schedule after that.
They're 3-0 before they play Bama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no
And
doubt about
after
that.
that, it's
Wait,
anybody's-
that's a bold statement there, sir. You're giving Mississippi State 0 credit.
Well, you're playing at South Carolina. If we were on the road, if South Carolina was on the road
At
at
that point in the
Mississippi
season, that state game is going to be good.
My apologies. All of our Costco listeners will have season tickets to that game, so there won't be as many cowbells in there. So you're right. That is at home. So that's very, very good.
Right.
But then great. You're 3-0 to start the season. I'll give you the Mississippi State win. Hit me with the next win you hear. At Alabama, home for Kentucky, at Florida, home for Tennessee.
Oh, no, I think they got that Kentucky win, man.
At Oklahoma, home for Texas A&M, at Arkansas, home for Georgia, at Clemson.
It's manageable.
And
It's manageable.
Will Stein in Kentucky is going to go into South Carolina and he's going to dominate.
Well, I got high hopes for Will Stein in Kentucky.
That-
I think
hey,
it's
that
going to
is-
be good, but
That is October 3rd. That is the first game
it's October.
of October.
We'll see what happens there, man. So let's move over to the West Coast. Lincoln Riley. So this is year 5 at USC, with the Trojans have invested too much money for the program to remain outside the championship picture. USC returns a significant experience as Jaden Maiava back at quarterback and added Gary Patterson to lead the offense. The Trojans also signed the nation's top recruiting class, so the future of the roster is tied closely to Lincoln Riley. The schedule includes Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana. So what is the firing line for Lincoln Riley? 7-5, 8-4, 9-3, or a college football playoff appearance. What happens?
College football playoff experience he's in.
Right.
The best thing that Lincoln Riley has going for him right now is 80 million reasons to keep him around.
Plus, you got the number 1 class in the country. You're going to lose a lot of that talent if Lincoln gets fired.
Yes.
So I think there's breathing room even with 9-3, but 8-4, I think he's out.
I think it depends on who the 4 is. I think 8-4 he's still safe.
So he loses to Oregon. They lose to Washington. Could lose to Penn State. They lose to Ohio State, and then they turn around and play Indiana at Indiana.
Yeah.
That's 5.
They got to win at least one of those 5.
They have to win one of
They
those
have
5.
to beat
Right.
they have to beat UCLA at the end of the season.
Yeah. And
Because they could go be
UCLA could have a crazy year with Bob Chesney over there.
well, that's what I was gonna say. They could, we're saying 8-4. I think he's safe. You win one, at least win one of that 5 that he just listed off there. It's all very, tough. None of them are world beaters outside of Ohio State and Indiana, but.
I mean, if you can't win any of the big games for Lincoln over there, like if you were to lose, UCLA's a rivalry game, right?
Yeah.
Which I've seen expectations of 10-2 for UCLA. I mean, Chesney's a real hire over there, but if you were to lose to Oregon, you lose your big games all around. You're looking at the possibility of Lincoln getting kicked out of the door.
So you're saying you think he's got to win at least 2 of those big games.
I think at least he has to win a majority.
And beat UCLA.
Yeah,
if he's still on the hot seat and loses to UCLA at the.
You just lost a little brother. When was the last time? I mean, it's been a little bit since UCLA actually had a team to put on the football field that was really good. I'm talking like, I'm gonna forget his name. So Sam Darnold was at USC at the time, and then across the city, you had
It's going to be UCLA starting quarterback, right? And I don't know who it was.
Sam Darnold, and it was that year.
Okay.
They both had good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why Lincoln Riley will not leave USC.
Wow.
Okay? And you've already brought it up. It's that recruiting class. It's okay. There's no way the administration at USC is going to fire Lincoln Riley when they got the #1 recruiting class. Okay. If you fire your head coach, every one of those guys are gone. So your future is gone. So not only are you losing your coach, if you're losing all those players.
If you go 8-4,
yep.
and there's nothing to sit your hat on and say, well, we'll be better next year. I just know
8-4 get you 8-4, get you a bowl game.
But USC is not focused on a bowl game. They're focused on the college football. They want to be in the playoff.
You know, you're probably a 5th or 6th ranked bowl game at 8-4.
Well, I mean, you look at it. If they lose, all right, we're assuming right now a lot on the 8th day of August, right? The Ocho is on in the background. A loss at or against Ohio State, right? That wouldn't be a big step out. A loss against Indiana, not a big step out, right? So you lose one of those other, Washington, Penn State, that next level of the Big 12 teams, Big 10 teams, excuse me, and you're now the 4th or 5th team in that conference, which is really good. Don't get me wrong, being the 4th best team in the conference, 5th best team in the conference, but if something slips up and the ACC gets 2 teams in,
yeah.
If you take 2 teams from the ACC, a Notre Dame and a Texas Tech, and a UNLV running Rebels, that's 5 of the spots taken right there.
It doesn't help, and this is the statement that I'll make on USC, right? It doesn't help that Chesney is coming in their first year at UCLA, and they're calling for 10 wins. If he achieves that, and you're looking at Lincoln Riley, who has struggled to get 10 wins at USC, you got to look at the possibility of firing. I don't think there's any way around it, because your rivalry that you've looked at for little brother for years, because UCLA couldn't put it together, and 5-6 years, right?
They were able to put it together.
And they're able to put it together in year 1 of Chesney's tenure with Nico at quarterback. I think there's issues at USC that will have to be resolved after the season. 7:30 a.m., 1 through 9 FM. Jock Huntsville, this is the Off the Bench College Football Show. We'll be right back.
Dipspit sitting in a sun-drop can, cut off tea with a farm stand, trash in the back of a nest in bedroll, tattoo right across your chest. People say we're all just ticks, but they get it if they did it like this. Out in the States, we say, hey, are ye how, honey? We ain't broke, but we don't come for money. Your supper's on the stove if you're hungry. We get tired on Saturday night. Say, hey, are ye how, honey? We ain't broke, but we don't come for money. Supper's on the stove if you're hungry. We get tired on Saturday night and then on Sunday we're in a church pew. Yeah, we kill what we eat if we have to. If you think we're silly, kind of hillbilly, then you just don't get it, buddy. Must be too country. Must be too country. boy getting into trouble. Sneaking bottles from a daddy's cupboard. At least he knew that my mama tried. Tonight I showed up 10 minutes late, but to me that was early. If I ain't getting paid, then I ain't in a hurry. It's closing time. I'm still ready to drink, 'cause I'm under the influence of Merle Haggard and Whale. I'm walking down a road near College Station. Can't find my ride, I'm too drunk to drive. I can find my keys, I get it.
7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, Jocks Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. Guys, you want to hit us up today? You can hit us up on X. You can do so at Off the Bench CFB. You can hit us up there. Send in your text questions, comments, anything like that. You can tag us as well. Hit me up over there. Keep up with all the latest on Off the Bench with Kelsey_Huffine and everything that I'm on. Of course, you can also hit us up on YouTube if you want to get in the comment section here or Facebook. Either one works. But somebody did get it. I think it was Rudy the Boxer. Got it correct. It was Josh Rosen who I was talking about. Because you had Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold both playing at UCLA and USC at the same time. And that was the last time I remember that they were both good at the same time.
Fun story about that rivalry that I always think about. The head coach that everybody loved, that went off to Seattle for a while. Lord, I'm not gonna be able to think of his name now. But they're playing UCLA, and USC is up big, and they got the ball at like the 50-yard line. The game's almost over. There's just a minute something left on the game, and USC goes out there in victory formation, takes a knee up. I think they're up like 2 or 3 scores. Like it's over, right? It's all over. But the fat lady is humming in the background. Pete Carroll, thank you. Mm-hmm. So UCLA's coach calls a timeout, and Pete Carroll throws his hands up and looks at him and walks almost to midfield, looking at their head coach, and he's just furious. He's like, all right. Turns back around, hits his little mic. Next play, 50-yard bomb to the end zone with a minute 7 left on the clock. And he's like, all right, you want to call a timeout?
Pete Carroll's one of those coaches that's like, what if he stayed in college? Maybe when the Belichick experiment's over in North Carolina, although you're going to see Steven take that role, but maybe you could see Pete Carroll come over to North Carolina.
I would like Carroll will be 6 feet under by that point.
Can we?
I don't know. We'll see when he gets. He's still in Vegas, isn't he? I think he's still with Vegas.
I would like to take this time to pat myself on the back.
Oh.
And remind y'all.
Is that new?
Of how terrible of a head coach Bill Belichick is.
He's terrible in college. I think we all know that.
No. I didn't say college.
No,
I did not make a
specification. We're going to go down that route.
Again. No. We're not going down that route.
Having a flashback.
Terrible head coach.
Rudy the Boxer hitting us up. USC has never been in the playoffs. If it wasn't for the great Pete the Cheat, USC would be in the Mountain West right now.
Ooh, the Bush push.
I don't know about that one. USC's too big of a brand, I think, to be in the Mountain West. Regardless of, you got to think about, when you're talking about conferences, most of the time you got to think about basketball and all the other sports and all, because Vanderbilt, we can make the argument they're not going to be in the SEC year in and year out, but in basketball and baseball, I think you'd beg to differ in that department. 7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM, Jocks Huntsville. Stay tuned. Hour 2 of Off the Bench coming up here in just a minute.
Hit that like and subscribe button.
Wrong thing. .30 a.m., 103.9 FM, Jocks Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. I'm your host, Kelsey Huffine. Co-host Richie Jones sitting to the left of me, and Pops on the opposite side of the camera. Hour 2 of the Off the Bench College Football Show now, the final hour of Off the Bench, which means we have to get into the other stuff. And, of course, the coaches poll, preseason coaches poll, did release this week, which means we have a lot to go through, a lot to talk about as we get into that here. So
look at those graphics.
I know, right? Amazing. So now we can sit here and look at, if you're on the YouTube side, you can check it out with us here today. So we spend every August saying preseason polls do not matter, and then spend the rest of August arguing about them. So they matter because they establish the initial perception of every team. A highly ranked team receives the benefit of the doubt after one loss. A team outside the top 25 may need several weeks of winning before the voters take it seriously. So, top of the poll, Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Texas, Notre Dame, defending national champions Indiana, who actually received the second most first-place votes, ended up at 6th in this poll. But
I don't know how that math works.
I don't know.
I don't either.
It's weird. I don't know.
So a bunch of people gave them first place votes, and then the rest of the people gave them like
Right.
12,
Yes.
like
the coaches.
Yep.
Hey,
Yeah. This also defended the argument that the Big Ten and the SEC, right? Big Ten still has the top teams, okay? SEC has deeper teams, right? It's deeper throughout.
There's two distinct. There's the top of the Big Ten, the top of the SEC. Then there's the middle of the SEC, and then the middle of the Big Ten.
Right.
Yeah,
And this is the deepest, or this is the lowest Alabama has been in quite some time, since 2008.
Shh, we're not talking about it.
Well, since 2008, Alabama has not been ranked, I guess, outside the
I'll
top
talk
10.
about it.
Now it's
I've
11
I've been told by Stephen A. Smith that we're not talking about it.
by Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen A. Smith, we're not talking about it.
Skip the Alabama fan?
Alabama's going under the radar.
No,
It's fine, so we're not talking about it. We're just not going to talk about Alabama.
So
does
let's
the top 5 surprise you at all, Kels?
no, not at all. I think this is actually a good one. Ohio State.
I am a little surprised by Indiana not being in the top 5. Once again, somebody for whatever reason thinks Oregon is the greatest thing since sliced bread to
So
never
returning quarterback.
Well, Oregon is you can flip. A lot of people want to make the argument that you can flip block Oregon and Ohio State. They both have really good rosters, maybe the most experienced and competitive rosters in college football.
I would flip.
I would not go on to say that Oregon can jump Ohio State. The talent on Ohio State's offense with Julian Sain and Jeremiah Smith alone, plus Chris Henry, all their wide receivers they got. And then on defense, you look over. I can't name every defensive player for Ohio State, but I can say that they have Quay Russoff from Alabama and James Smith from Alabama, who is looking like an absolute unit under that training regimen for Ohio State. Now, Oregon's no different. I mean, Dante Moore returning at quarterback. There's Oregon. This may be the most talented roster that we have seen under Dan Lanning in his tenure at Oregon.
You know, you look at on the socials at 5 Adam. He said we improved each position. I'm assuming he's talking about Oregon and what you just referenced, Kelsey, about being
Likely.
loaded. Yeah.
I just until I see Oregon actually win a big game, it's hard for me to say, hey, Oregon's going to be up there. We did the same thing for one, I know I did the same thing last season for Indiana and said until I see them win a big game, I can't do it. I would flip Texas and Georgia. I don't know why people are sleeping on Texas, and I don't get it. Whatever, it is what it is.
We're going to know real quick.
Yep,
They
because
play Ohio State.
that's a 1v4 right there.
I'm
surprised the coaches poll didn't put them 1-2 and go, oh look, week 1, Texas Ohio State, or week 2, Texas Ohio State 1 versus 2. I don't get it with Texas A&M and Oklahoma. I get it with Ole Miss. I do. I get that. There's some surprises in there as well. I don't understand Clemson being ranked. I feel like Missouri being ranked is the biggest joke of them all.
Well, I actually think Clemson being ranked is the biggest joke of all, even with Penn State. Look, a lot of this is based off last year.
If Clemson and Missouri were playing at noon kickoff,
I'm taking Missouri right now.
Really?
Is it just because of the defense? I mean, or just because of the roster shifts at Clemson?
I don't think.
I mean, Dabo Swinney's got to be worth a few points.
Clemson had a bad year last year, and he had a quarterback, Cade Klubnik, who was a veteran at the time. You have a new quarterback this year. Even though Klubnik is actually eligible to return, he can't because he signed an NFL contract. So you have a new quarterback for Clemson. Five Adam, of course, he's talking about Alabama. I remember now. That's right.
Yeah.
So, Clemson, I just don't know. I want Clemson to return and Dabo to be the pinnacle of the ACC again. I do. Soft part of me does. I don't think it's going to happen magically. So right now, I would say the momentum would trend towards toward Missouri. Now, what also I would say is I'm very surprised at the spot where Oklahoma is at. We're looking at a preseason coaching poll that's a majority influenced by last season.
Yeah.
Okay?
They lost to Bama.
In the playoffs, okay? Ole Miss considerably has more talent on the roster than I would say Oklahoma.
Plus, they got the best running back and probably best quarterback in football.
Exactly, okay? The only issue with Ole Miss is Pete Golding is in his first head coaching job ever in college football. So, Ole Miss, I think they're a little low. I think Oklahoma's too high. I would, bump up Alabama just a couple of spots. Ole Miss, then Alabama, then Oklahoma. That's where I put that out there.
Okay.
Texas A&M has a lot of people want to question them. I don't get why. A lot of people think Elko's overrated, but they have returning Reed, who's again was a Heisman candidate at some point last year.
And you look at this top 25, and I look at the top teams, and I'm thinking of quarterbacks on each of these teams. Number 1, Julian Sand.
Well, and that's
Number 3, Gunnar Stock.
That's really what it is, yeah.
Number 4, Superman. You got Manning.
C.J. Carr, Notre Dame.
Which, I mean, football, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever you want to look at it, look at last season with the Patrick Mahomes, great quarterback in the NFL, right? He gets hurt. And the Kansas City Chiefs go from winning Super Bowls and playing in Super Bowls to not, even in the playoffs and everything. So the quarterback makes a huge difference. It's the only position on a football field that is worth more than, I think it's worth more than 3 points.
Yeah, we can agree that Manning cannot start off slow, though. He's got to be locked and loaded.
To go back to Five Adams, because we're not talking about Alabama, so we're not talking about Alabama when it comes to the the coaches' top 25. We're not talking about them. But we upgraded in every position. What?
I don't think we upgraded.
Our quarterback got drafted. What?
Well, so
top 10.
Okay.
Texas, Arch Manning had a good year at the end of the year last year. He played rather with concern.
His last 6 weeks were awesome.
Exactly. The first 6 weeks he played rather with concern. And Texas has made a lot of improvements. Of course, Cam Coleman at the wide receiver core, Will Muschamp at the its coordinator, which Blind Squirrel Sports was just referencing.
That running back that was at Alabama for a week.
Hollywood Smothers over there running back too.
Money talks.
Right. I mean, Texas has made a lot of improvements toward what they believe is win it all or nothing is happening ever again for Texas, because Sarkisian's going to be gone. He'll be in the NFL if he doesn't win this year, I firmly believe. And then Arch Manning's gone after this year. So it is win it all or nothing now for Texas and the Longhorns. Now, for Alabama, I see another comment down here. What do you guys think the A.K. Deere getting his first reps at running back? Talked a little bit about this earlier. Daniel Hill's kind of taken his role, penciled in there as running back 1 for the Tide. A.K. Deere, I assume, is going to slot in at 2. Kevin Riley's still a question mark where he's going to be at. But E.J. Crowell seemingly is going to force some reps as well this year for the Tide. So,
and I think it comes down to the quarterback, too, because do you need another quick out guy, or do you need just a straight-up running back?
The Bama's offense has to be balanced. It has to be balanced.
Well,
It's got to be able to get 3 to 4 yards on a run.
Grubb said just a couple days ago that Alabama they're still working on running back group, and they have confidence. Basically, what he said is they have confidence that it's going to be back to its pure form. It's going to be good again.
I would love to see Hill be. I am not saying he is this guy, but the way this guy runs, Derrick Henry. If you remember, first quarter, Derrick Henry would get like 1 yard.
I would argue.
Second quarter, he'd get like 2.5 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Third quarter, it was like 5. And then the fourth quarter, the other team was like, I ain't tackling him.
Hey, I didn't think we were talking about Bama.
I
No,
would
we're not talking about Bama,
argue.
sorry.
I would argue it'd be more similar to a Najee Harris. I think Henry is too high of a comparison
That's a
for
good- okay.
anybody to make.
But
I'd say
we're not talking about
Scarborough.
Bama.
I would take
Bo
both
Scarborough or
Yeah.
Najee Harris. I think those are two more fair comparisons rather than going off the bat and saying, that's Derrick Henry right there. It's just so hard to say. Now, I compared Najee Harris to Derrick Henry back in the day. So
I was
But-
watching highlights from a game last night. It was when Henry and LSU played. What was running back at LSU?
that was Leonard Fournette.
Fournette. And Bama held him to like 9 yards the entire game, and Henry went off.
You were talking about quarterbacks and how good the quarterbacks are for all these teams. Obviously, there's a question at quarterback at 6 with Indiana because they got a new quarterback. There's a question at quarterback at 11, which we're not talking about.
I mean, Indiana's got Josh Hoover. I mean, Josh Hoover's an established quarterback.
But he's new to them.
He's new to them.
Yeah.
He had a great year last year at TCU. I just don't think everybody wants to expect, okay, this is era 2. We're moved on from Fernando Mendoza. We've got Fernando Mendoza 2.0 with Josh Hoover. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It won't happen. Now, they did get Daly back, the big defensive lineman this week, defensive end. He will be back on the defensive side for Indiana. It's a huge addition back for them. It gives them a lot of leeway in a lot of this. I just don't think people do not need to expect Indiana to go 16-0 this year.
Right.
They are going to have a natural drop-off. Now, Cignetti is a phenomenal coach. There is no denying that. But there will be no 16-0 repeat national championships. You will lose another game for the first time in, a year and a half. You will lose another game, Indiana.
I want to bring up, though, looking at this, there's 4 teams in particular that I want to talk about. Texas Tech, BYU, and then Miami, SMU. Really, when you look at it, the coaches are still loving Texas Tech, even without Swarsby.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's off gambling.
Well, when you have an amazing defense. Yeah.
But then the drop-off with the next best you have BYU, and then there's nothing. There's no Arizona. There's no Arizona State. There's no other team from that conference on this sheet of paper. Miami, and then the drastic drop. Unless I'm missing one, the next ACC school is SMU, and then you got Clemson right there.
Yeah.
And I do apologize. My fault. I missed Utah. Utah is on there, which is in the Big 12. But it's a very drastic drop with some of these conferences. With this team is it, and then there's, what else are we gonna do?
Scott Chambers hitting us up. Guys, Scott's awesome. Everybody go check out Scott Chambers. Seeing Penn State at 17th is touching. Matt Campbell over there.
Touching cotton.
I don't know, Scott, I don't know what you meant by that, but
I think he's saying it's just, oh, that's nice.
it's
They're there.
Matt Campbell's an incredible coach. He met last season at Iowa State. He had a little bit of a drop-off, but Josh Pate pushed it so much last year that it eventually became reality, that he was going to go over to Penn State. I think he's going to be good. I don't think there's much separation from what James Franklin and Matt Campbell can do at Penn State. Will he be able to win the big game is the only question mark I have about that. They will be able to play the conference schedule easily, but you have the teams you have to worry about. You have to worry about your Oregons. You have to worry about your Michigans. You have to worry about your Ohio States, your USCs, your UCLAs. You have to worry about those teams. That's all Penn State has to worry about. I mean, I have no issue with, I have no issue with how they're ranked right now. I think it's premature.
I agree
same with
that.
Clemson.
Yeah.
I think it's premature. A lot of, from what I've seen now, Washington, everything I've heard come out of Washington and SMU, that's a great spot to put this in.
Would you put
I think
them
LSU's
higher?
a little high.
I agree with LSU being a little high. Would you put Washington and or SMU any higher?
Yeah, I would. I'd put them above. I'd put them above Tennessee, Penn State, Michigan, even USC.
This may be a question we need to hit on the other side of the break. Give you a second to think about it. Last year, how many? Penn State started the season second, and fired their head coach.
Right.
Yeah.
Clemson started the season third, and had conversation about firing their head coach. I may be a little off on those numbers, but they were both very highly ranked. Is there a team in the top 10 that just completely falls apart and
Two candidates.
and is not we're not even talking about when we get to November, early December, and we're talking about the playoffs?
Yeah, there's two teams.
Let's hit that after the break, man.
Yeah, let's hit that after break. I think there's two teams in this list that could possibly be that Penn State of 2026. We're going to get to it here in just a minute. Continuing on with the Off the Bench College Football Show, the Coaches Poll, top 25 for preseason. Guys, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show.
Dipspit sitting in a sun-drop can, cut off tea with a farm stand, trash in the back of a nesting bed, roll tide tattoo right across your chest. People say we're all just ticks, but they get it if they did it like this. Out in the States, we say, hey, are ye how, honey? We ain't broke, but we don't come for money. Your supper's on the stove if you're hungry. We get tired on Saturday night and then home Sunday. We're in a church pew. Yeah, we kill what we eat if we have to. If you think we're silly, kind of hillbilly, then you just don't get it, buddy. Must be too country. Yeah, we burn a little rubber in a parking lot. Can't get in any trouble if you're friends with the cops. We are who we are, ain't gonna stop. Only listen to our mamas and God. And we say, hey, are ye how, honey? We ain't broke, but we don't come for money. Supper's on the stove if you're hungry. We get tired on Saturday night and then home Sunday. We're in a church pew. Yeah, we kill what we eat if we have to. If you think we're silly, kind of hillbilly, then you just don't get it, buddy. Must be too country. Must be too country. Yeah. If I'm gonna downhill, I'd rather be surrounded by fields. Back in BFE, you say, hey, are ye how, honey? We ain't broke, but we don't come for money. Your supper's on the stove if you're hungry. We get tired on Saturday night and then on Sunday. We're in a church pew. Yeah, we kill what we eat if we have to. If you think we're silly, kind of hillbilly, then you just don't get it, buddy. Must be too country. Must be too country. Yeah. Dipspit sitting in a sun-drop can, cut off tea with a farm stand, trash in the back of a nesting bed, roll tide tattoo right across your chest. People say we're all just ticks, but they get it if they did it like this. Out in the States, we say, hey, are ye how, honey? We ain't broke, but we don't come for money. Your supper's on the stove if you're hungry. We get tired on Saturday night and then church pew. Yeah, we kill what we eat if we have to. If you think we're silly, kind of hillbilly, then you just don't get it, buddy. Must be too country. Yeah, we burn a little rubber in a parking lot. Can't get in any trouble if you're friends with the cops. We are who we are, ain't gonna stop. Only listen to our mamas and God. And we say, hey, are ye how, honey? We ain't broke, but we don't come for money. Supper's on the stove if you're hungry. We get tired on Saturday night and then on Sunday we're in a church pew. Yeah, we kill what we eat if we have to. If you think
We're back, Rich.
hillbilly, then you just don't get.
7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, Jocks Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. I'm your host, Kelsey Huffine, co-host Richie Jones, sitting to the left of me, and of course, Pops on the opposite side of the camera from us. So we've been going through the preseason top 25 coaches poll, in the last segment, and we've gotten. I don't even remember what we left off on.
I asked the question.
Yes,
I had you ponder during the break. Is there a Penn State, Clemson this season? Is there somebody who's ranked really high, preferably the top 10, that come into November, 1st of December, we're not even talking about when it comes to playoff?
right. Okay.
And you immediately were like, oh, there's two.
There's two teams.
And
Now, I don't think there's a dramatic drop-off for one. I think it's more of a, well, man, this is just not the season we expected from them.
Okay.
But the other one, I have a feeling that either the season is going to go tremendously well or it's a complete drop-off.
Okay.
And everything that I've heard about this specific team, it is if the quarterback performs, he is going to perform extremely well. But if the guardrails fall off the highway, he's going into the ditch.
Okay. What you got?
The team with the MOU entering the season,
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Okay.
C.J. Carr.
Notre
Everything
Dame.
that has been said about C.J. Carr is he's a phenomenal quarterback.
They don't.
If he can stay out of the ditch,
Okay.
if he stays out of the ditch, they're going to have a great season. If they do not, and he falls apart, you're looking at a 4-win Notre Dame team. 4-win Notre Dame team.
I think I could quarterback Notre Dame to 4 wins.
4-win Notre Dame team.
Their schedule's too light, Kels.
Now, no, hold on though. If you got a struggling quarterback, then you got an issue.
I could see if Notre Dame just absolutely
That's the team. That's
poops themselves.
well. You asked me what was the team to do it.
Yeah.
That's the most likely team.
Well, okay.
Rudy hit the boxer hit us up Miami. I don't see that. You just brought in Dorian Mensah. All right. You still have Malachi
back.
Tony at wide receiver. You got a good defense. It's a weak ACC. Miami's not going to do that. That's not what's going to happen. Cristobal's got that team under control. Okay. LSU is not. That might happen too, but Kiffin, they're a little too lowly ranked to have that Penn State
It's
2.0.
not top 10.
It's not top 10. LSU is going to be that issue problem child. We still don't know what's to happen under Lane Kiffin's first year.
Notre Dame does play at BYU, does get Miami at home, and does get SMU at home. So, I mean, even if Notre Dame's good, not great, that could be 3 losses, and that's enough to drop them out with no conference championship, no nothing.
And everybody wants to react to the MOU like it's crazy. Here's the deal.
Which just says that they're in the top 12 they're in, right?
Yeah, but if the playoff committee doesn't think they're going to be in,
They just put them at 13.
put them at 13.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Okay, the MOU didn't matter. Okay, people need
It's
to calm
11
down about the motion
At
of
11,
understanding.
they're in regardless.
Yes.
At 13, they're out regardless.
If we're sitting there and they have 3 losses going into it and they were ranked the week before on Selection Sunday,
Yeah.
they're at 11.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, they dropped to 13.
Yeah, due to other teams' performances on the field last week. So the only The only thing the MOU gives Notre Dame
is a guarantee that if you're in the 12
is one spot.
Yeah.
Because if they're 11th, they're in regardless.
Right.
If they're 13th, they're out regardless. The only difference is that they're the 12, they're in, and whoever was 11 is out because the non-power 17, whatever they're calling them now, is in.
Well,
but I think you said you had two, so Notre Dame makes sense. I can give you Notre Dame, and you said another one was oh darn, we just didn't have the season we thought we were going to have.
I'd be Texas A&M.
Okay.
You know, everybody is already saying. Now, I don't firmly agree with this. Everybody wants to say, "Oh, Mike Elko is overrated," right? You want to hear all these things. Reed could just fall off this year at quarterback. It could happen. It very well could happen. That is the potential SEC team to completely drop off. Now, you can also make the argument that Alabama may be that team too.
They're not in the top 10, and we're not talking about them. All right, you ready?
No, I would say Texas, man.
Look, I mean, I just don't know.
They play Ohio State right off the bat, and it's one of those teams that's going to have a loss.
You know what, Pops? I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Are you ready for?
Yeah.
You ready?
Texas schedule?
Mm-mm.
Ohio State schedule.
Even better. At home for Ball State. That's a W, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
We're the number 1 team in the country. We're going to beat.
So we're Ohio State.
We're going to beat Ball State, right?
Yeah.
Week 2, we're going to go deep into the heart of Texas. Clap, clap, clap.
Yeah.
We're going to come back home and lick our wounds.
Yeah.
Because we lost. We lost to Archie Manning, who's now by far the betting favorite odds to win the Heisman Trophy, because he just went off on us.
Right.
He just went nuts.
Are you talking A&M schedule right now?
No, I am Ohio State schedule.
Okay, never mind. Okay, I just got.
We're going to come home. We're going to lick.
Man, confused.
We're going to lick our wounds, and we're going to welcome Kent State to the house. We're 2-1. We're still top 5, right? Right.
Yeah.
We're going to bring Illinois into the building.
Hold on,
you don't know what you're going to get with Illinois.
There's
you
no
never
noise in Illinois. It's just Illinois.
Illinois.
Louisville too, right now.
Louisville.
Then we're going to go on the road to Iowa. And at the end of the first quarter, we're going to wave to the kids, and we're going to wave bye to that top 5 ranking.
So you think the pink locker rooms get them and everything else?
Home for Maryland.
Yeah, that's a win.
And then the wheels fall off. At Indiana, at USC, home for Oregon.
They got to win all 3 of those.
Yeah, Ohio State's got a tough schedule.
So maybe it's Ohio State that's
no, the team is too talented. You might see a 10-3 Ohio State.
Northwestern, at Nebraska, and then the game.
Michigan.
You think Whittingham is gonna?
I'm just saying, if the
is
wheels
it at Michigan or is it?
If we're talking last season,
I think they're in
Penn State,
this year.
Clemson. They were both ranked super high. The wheels just absolutely fell off the bus. If there is a team out there who has an opportunity to be that highly ranked and the wheels just absolutely fall off, a loss at Iowa, a loss at Texas, a loss at USC, a loss to Indiana, and a loss to Michigan, the wheels, the proverbial wheels, and the hot seat that was Ryan Day 2 seasons ago gets a little spark underneath it.
Now, this may be more outrageous than me saying that Notre Dame could actually fall off this year.
Okay.
You know, I
think Texas is going to that week 2. There's 3 games that everybody's talking about. Texas, Ohio State,
and you're setting up for probably the biggest masterclass of SEC versus Big Ten all year, which is Texas, Ohio State. It's going to set the
you have
the
Oklahoma, Nebraska, Michigan. So
Not
that's
as
that
big.
but it's that second. That's
it's that week
both
2.
teams second tier teams.
Right.
And Mississippi State plays Minnesota.
Oh my gosh, man!
That's the bottom tier.
Mm-hmm.
If the SEC comes out of that 3-0 and just puts belt to bottom, B to A,
BDA, yeah.
And then this talk about that poor little SEC, they hadn't won a championship in 3 years. They just can't do nothing up here in the Midwest. is gone.
It wouldn't sound like that. That was a little too Southern.
Here's how it would sound.
It sound more Midwestern.
Sorry, I don't do a good Midwestern
well,
accent.
here's how it would sound for the South, right? Well, Ohio State, bless their little hearts over there. Bless their little hearts over there in Ohio.
Grab you some beaver nuggets on your way out. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
Yeah. Now, you know the team we're not even talking about here, and you know, we talk about quarterback play, right? And I think it's Georgia, okay? I've never been sold on Gunnar Stockton, okay? I watched Alabama get him in the regular season last year, and then Gunnar Stockton showed off in the SEC championship. But I've never been sold on him. You put pressure on this young man. And he's not young. I guess this is his third year now.
I just don't see, and I guess, I mean, we would have said the same thing about Dabo last season.
Yeah.
365 days ago, we just said the same thing about Dabo. I just don't see Kirby allowing. Kirby does a great job. Same thing that Nick Saban did, and he's probably learned it from Nick Saban. And this is things that I've seen so many other teams in the SEC do. You let one loss cost you two.
Yeah.
Where you lose a game and you're so hurt, you're so down, you're so whatever from that loss, you don't get up for the next week. And that's just something I don't see. Nick Saban never had that. He never had that, hey, we just got our butts beat, and then we get beat again the following week, you know, or we're looking forward to the next team and we lose both. I just don't see Kirby having that. I see Kirby having that same outlook that Nick had of you win today, you play today, you win today, and we'll deal with tomorrow, and we sure ain't dealing with next week until next week, and you know that kind of atmosphere. So that's why I just don't see Georgia. Yeah, Georgia could end up with 3 losses at the end of the season. I just don't see the wheels falling off at any point in time, as happened to Penn State and Clemson last season.
Well, I'm sold with Gunnar Stockton in one area, and that's off the field. You know what he drives to school every day?
No, what does he drive to school every day?
I think it's like a 75 F-150.
A 1975 F-150
Yeah.
or a $75,000 F-150?
No. 1975 F-150. He's a little farm boy over there. He likes to go hunting and fishing.
It ain't a Lightning?
No.
It ain't a plug-in hybrid?
No. He's getting that old gasoline over there in Athens, Georgia.
87?
And maybe it's pay before you pump.
Hey, so can I make one quick comment to Rudy the Boxer? He says the SEC only beats the SEC. Well, that would happen when you play a 9-game SEC schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Ohio State entered the SEC this season, they would be in part of that.
Please remember that. The SEC plays a 9-game SEC schedule. We're the only conference that does that internally.
Every conference does now.
Okay. But
Which
we were the last conference to do that.
That doesn't help Ohio State, I don't think.
No, just my point is when he makes a comment about the SEC only beating the SEC, well, look at the ranked teams. There's 5 of the 10 in the top 10 are SEC right now, coaches poll.
And you're going to have week 2. This conversation is over.
We got a little over a month to figure it out. And, and right now we're making outlandish statements. In my delusional mind, Kentucky's going to make the college football playoff. In Richie's delusional mind, Ohio State's going to completely fall off, and they're going to fire Ryan Day this year. That's
I didn't
just
say
how
this
it's gonna
year.
be.
Next year.
That's just how it's going to be. 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM. Jocks Huntsville. Guys, we got college football villains, the history of college football villains on the other side here. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. 7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM. Jocks Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. You guys are getting heated in the comments.
Be nice.
Popcorn. Blind Squirrel says he's watching this. He's got his popcorn ready, man.
Be nice in the chat.
Guys, keep hitting up. We really do appreciate it. Best things you can do for the show here. Best way to support us, share the show, like the show, and subscribe to the Off the Bench College Football Show. We see the comments. We do. And Pops is coming up for an argument for a 9-game schedule here. Because, you know.
I made the comment. I'll be the first to admit it, okay? But when you're playing Rutgers, Northwestern, and you're not playing back-to-back, like top 25 teams each week, and the Big Ten does not do it.
To be fair, the toughest schedule in the Big Ten do have a, quote, death row.
That's Ohio State. But once you go.
It's actually not.
Who is it?
It's Northwestern.
Oh, okay. All right.
At Oregon, at Iowa, and Ohio State later in the year.
But
they could write a nice article about it.
But what does Indiana do? Are they playing like Bama's schedule this year has one stretch where it's top 20? There's 4 games back to back again, top 25. Mm-hmm. The only reason, let's be real here, the only reason Bama made the playoffs last year was that run they had like back to back, and they won 4 straight against top 25 teams. Okay, and we're not talking like a cheesy run. We're talking about Georgia. Tennessee, LSU, and we ran through it, and we made the playoffs because of that run.
Did we play LSU last year?
Was it LSU?
I don't think we did.
I don't remember. It was 4 top 25 teams, right? Yeah. Okay, but that's my biggest gripe I have with the Big Ten. They just don't do that. You have a top tier and you have a lower tier, okay? And it seems like the big schools, like the Indianas of the world, they play in the lower tier.
I'm gonna just do this again. And I'll do it every week if I got to for Indiana's schedule.
You're gonna talk about Indiana's schedule.
North Texas at home, Howard at home, Western Kentucky at home, Northwestern at home, at Rutgers, at Nebraska. That's 6 of the easiest games.
And they win by 40 each of those games.
Okay, then you bring Ohio State into home, at Michigan. Then you go home for Minnesota. Then you get, which is an easy game. Minnesota's not some murderer's row top 25 team, okay? They may not be better than Mississippi State. Let's be completely honest. Then you get a bye week, home for USC, at Washington, Purdue.
So you do have 4 top 25 teams right there.
No, you don't.
Well, Washington is, USC
total, yes.
Yeah,
but there's you play 2, you have Minnesota in a bye, and then play 2. And let's be honest, Washington and Michigan, depending on how their schedule plays out, may not be a top 25. I mean, if Michigan gets the doors blown off by Oklahoma week 2.
Here's how we'll put this argument to bed.
When they start playing the games,
Week 2, the big SEC and Big Ten are going to go at each other, and that's when we'll put the argument to bed.
I can't wait till we get into the regular season. You'll bring your boys from Indiana on. You'll bring your boy from Texas on the regular show.
We'll put it all together here. This is going to be a fun. We're just guys. We're 3 weeks away from college
actual football.
Week 0, actual football. It's going to be a fun one. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about the biggest villains in college football history. So I'm going to go through the list, have y'all react. Y'all can add y'all's as well. Let's go through the list first, and we'll get to that.
All right. Let's go.
Are you going 10-1?
Well, this is just there's no really ranking on this. This is just the 10 that I have come up with, okay?
All right, bring it.
Steve Spurrier.
The old bowl coach.
All right. Lane Kiffin.
Ooh, I would. He's a villain. Dude, get your popcorn ready, and you saw what happened. Everywhere he's gone, he's gotten fired.
He got left on the tarmac.
Ran out of town, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brian Bosworth.
Boz, man, steroid king, but one heck of a linebacker, man.
Johnny Manziel.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure, especially in Alabama's eyes.
Well, I mean, not just Alabama's eyes. He gave he did not leave college football in a pretty way. And
even last year when he was on the sidelines with Pop.
With all the chains on, like you couldn't even make it in the NFL, but you're going like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. The 1990 Miami Hurricanes.
They were criminals,
the
man.
entire team.
They were not only villains, they were criminals.
He said the entire
the
1990s.
entire 1990 Miami
The
Hurricanes.
staff, the trainers, everything.
Everybody.
But what happened? I love the fact that the ESPN 30 for 30, the U,
Yeah.
it ends after that season, and I'm getting a little older, and I don't. My brain's not as good as it once was. I'm not as able to remember as much as I once could. Why didn't they go on to talk about the next season?
I don't know.
Oh, that's because they lost in the Sugar Bowl.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. All right. Notre Dame as a whole, their entire institution.
Unless you're, well,
I like Rudy.
well, because
I like Rudy.
that's such a fake movie. No, you don't.
I like Rudy.
No, you don't. It's a fake movie. There's
Rudy
nothing
Rudy
real.
there.
There's nothing real in that entire movie.
I've
Okay.
talked to Rudy. I've talked to the
The
actual.
real Rudy.
Yeah.
There's nothing real in that stupid movie.
I've talked to the real Rudy.
Yeah.
Good guy. Good
Okay, wait a minute. Because so we're gonna talk about villains. I'm gonna
Yeah.
stop you on Notre Dame for a second before we just swim through this list.
Okay.
Because you've got BYU doesn't like them because it's Mormons versus Catholics. Miami doesn't like them because it's Catholics versus convicts. Or excuse me, Florida State. Was it Miami or Florida State? This is Catholics versus convicts. Either way, state of Florida doesn't appreciate them. The entire South doesn't like them because the Christian Bible Belt versus those silly Catholics and their golden domes. The ACC doesn't really like them because it's like, oh yeah, you're pretty enough for me to take to the dance as he's dancing with someone else. You know, the Big Ten doesn't like him because they got a MOU or whatever it is, and as long as they're in the top 12, they're in. And it's like, stop playing all your games. CBS and Fox and ESPN hate them because all their games are on NBC. Like, everyone does hate Notre Dame unless you're a Catholic from Indiana.
Well, it's kind of like Cowboys versus the whole rest of the whole other NFL, right? I mean, you're either or same with Alabama. You're either for them or against them. I mean, that's part of it too.
Let's hear the rest of them, Kels, before we
All
run out
right,
of time.
Rudy did also say, let me go find you a SIG quote about the model Indiana schedule off the SEC. Well, tell me when that takes place and we'll talk about it. All right, ESPN, the entire organization of ESPN, Disney.
You can't call them a villain, man.
Are they a villain? I don't know.
We wouldn't have half the things that we do without
true.
ESPN,
That's true.
man.
Listen, if we really want to talk about the entire corporation, the Disney Corporation, we do not have enough segments. But yes, there are some villains there, especially if you're like I said. I think the only reason we're still stuck at 12 teams is because the SEC. Because of the ESPN, because of some of the money with some of the stupid stuff that they've done, it's cost the corporation a bunch of money and everything. But yes, ultimately, I could see, especially the downfall. Like, we used to grow up, and you went to sleep watching SportsCenter.
Right. I mean, I used to go fall asleep watching. What was it? It wasn't SportsCenter at night. It was MLB at night.
Yes.
MLB at night.
But a lot of that has, because of the internet and everything, and so they've kind of slowly become like the old man villain.
All right, we got to hurry through the rest of these.
Okay.
Gary Danielson.
Move on.
I said something
Move
last
on?
week, and
Yeah.
I can't say those words.
You can't have another one.
Yeah.
You can't have another one.
Yeah, but
Duck Gary. Duck Gary.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Duck.
Go ahead.
All right. Tim Tebow.
No.
I just like to see Tebow crying every time
Not
I
a
see
villain,
Yeah,
though.
okay, okay.
I will not lose another game.
All right.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders.
Deion was going to be in my list.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah,
As a villain?
As a villain.
Caleb Williams.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
All right. There's some honorable mentions in here. We'll go through them real quick. Baker Mayfield, Diego Pavia, Vontez Burfict, Connor Stallions, the NCAA, Hugh Freeze, Phil Fulmer, Ryan Leaf, Jameis Winston.
I was at one time one of the founding members of the Philip Fulmer Has a Cholesterol Problem, Go Cholesterol Facebook group.
So I got to ask you something, Kelsey.
Yeah.
Why no Nick Saban in your list? Because if you're outside state Alabama,
Is he a villain?
oh man, if you're
I don't know if you classify. He didn't do anybody wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
ask an Auburn fan if he did anybody wrong.
You can't just hate him and call him a villain because he's beating you every year you played him. And that didn't even happen.
There's people that just do not like Nick Saban.
That's true.
Okay?
I mean, that's a fair point.
But there's people that don't like Pat McAfee.
Is he good for college football, Nick Saban? Yes, he is. Okay, there's no question about it. I think some of the comments today were something about cheating Nick Saban. Okay.
The Urban Meyer.
Oh, the poor pizza. The pizza is the villain in that story.
I've got another one.
What?
Greg Olson.
Why Greg Olson?
The 12th Floor Crew.
Oh,
You know what that is? Anybody get
I
it?
think I've heard something about that. Yeah.
Anybody comment on that? We can't play it.
No.
We can't play it for sure. We definitely cannot play that song. We'll have to introduce Pops to that here in a second.
The NCAA's lack of muscle is a villain because that's the reason we're in a big chunk of this. The Lord, at this point, Congress could be considered a villain when it comes to college football and not, doing what they need to do to solve the problems.
Well, hold on. So we're going to take a quick break real quick, and we'll come back with y'all's list, and we'll go further with this here in a second here. One more segment here on the Off the Bench College Football Show, 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM. Jocks Huntsville, this is the Off the Bench College Football Show.
Sneaking bottles from my daddy's cupboard. At least he knew that my mama tried. Tonight I showed up 10 minutes late, but to me that was early. If I ain't getting paid, then I ain't in a hurry. It's closing time. I'm still ready to drink, 'cause I'm under the influence of Merle Haggard and Waylon. Walking down a road near College Station. Can't find my ride, I'm too drunk to drive. I can find my keys, I get a DUI. I'm running on a cheap bottle of old Jim Beam and a half-empty can of nicotine. Under the influence of hanging out, SURVIVE. All my friends have done gone home, and I'm sitting here on the sidewalk alone. All the honky-tonks are shutting down. The sun's waking up in my head, it's a hurting. Time to call up one of those blonde-headed nurses, somewhere to sleep, and maybe an IV. 'Cause I'm under the influence of Merle Haggard and Waylon. Walking down a road near College Station. Can't find my ride, I'm too drunk to drive. I can find my keys, I get a DUI. I'm running on a cheap bottle of old Jim Beam and a half-empty can of nicotine. Under the influence of hanging out, SURVIVE. Everything will be alright, just as long as I make it through tonight. I'll survive. Right now I'm under the influence of Merle Haggard and Waylon. Stuck in some apartment, don't know the location. Think I lost my keys. Hope they don't tow my truck, 'cause I'm running on a cheap bottle of old Jim Beam and a half-empty can of nicotine. Under the influence of hanging out, SURVIVE. This goes out to all you rednecks out there. Largest record Dip's been sitting in a sun-drop can, cut off tea with a farm stand, trash in the back of a nest in
7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM. Jocks Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. I'm your host, Kelsey Huffine. Co-host Richard Jones sitting to the left of me, and Pops on the opposite side of the camera from us. Guys, it's been a heck of a show today. A lot of you guys tuning in, and we appreciate it. Rudy the Boxer hitting us up. I appreciate you guys helping me get through the workday. Hey, best time to listen to Off the Bench. Don't tell your boss, but it's definitely at work. It'll get you through the work. It'll get you through the workday. You know, and so we appreciate you guys listening. Share the show.
This is the first time I've seen his picture. My guess is he has a dog that is a boxer that's named as Rudy. Yeah.
Oh, we do too, guys.
I like it.
A couple things. Let us know where you're listening from. How far is Off the Bench stretch? How far are we getting to? We're trying to stretch it pretty good across the Southeast before the start of the season. Get you guys in here. If you got any puppy dogs like the boxer over there, yeah, hit us up about that too. We got two Huskies and Chihuahua over here.
I don't have a dog.
You don't have a dog.
I don't have a dog. I don't have a dog in this fight.
Out of the club.
Yeah.
Yeah. No bulldog.
Nope.
Definitely no bulldog.
Nope.
No. What about well, I guess bulldog. Is there any other dogs in the SEC?
Bulldogs. Georgia Bulldogs.
That's
yeah,
Revelry.
Reverie, yeah.
Reverie?
Yeah. Reverie.
Lassie over there in Texas A&M.
Buena Vista, Georgia. All right, listening to us in Buena Vista,
who's
Georgia.
that?
That'd be Blind Squirrel Sports.
Oh.
All right. Dylan Yasagi hitting us up as well. Off the Bench. We appreciate you guys listening. Every Saturday morning, guys, real quick, we do have a note about next week. We are off next week. We were taking a quick reset down in the Florida Panhandle, and we will be back the next week to discuss a week before week 0.
Yeah.
Would that be
week
right?
-1.
-1, yes. A week before week 0.
When we get back,
started off hot.
It'll be starting to feel like the most wonderful time of the year.
The start of the holiday season.
The start of the holiday season.
The start of the holiday season.
I always call it brother season. I spend more time with my brother in college football season than any other time throughout the year.
Brother season, holiday season, because we're kicking off. The holiday season starts with college football, and then we move to Halloween, and then we have Thanksgiving, and then we're at Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I made this argument, I think last year, week 1, was when I started making this argument.
I believe it was week 0. I think it was week 0, but
week 0, I started making the argument that this is the start of the college football season.
The start of the holiday season.
Smoky. Yes, start of the holiday season. Smokey, I forgot. I was thinking Tennessee had one.
Oh, yeah, well, we don't talk about Tennessee.
Yeah, well, what kind of dog is Smokey?
He's like a hunting dog.
He's a hound dog.
But he's tall and skinny.
I was fixing to say something real bad, but we already got in trouble once for saying a wordy dirt on the radio.
None more of that. It's Rudy the Boxer, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Ooh. Hey, I need one ticket to Colts week 1. hit me up.
You might have better luck with Brando.
Okay.
You might have better luck with that.
I just need one ticket. That's it.
One ticket over there. That's a lot to ask.
Hey, Rudy, we do appreciate you this morning, man.
Of course, everybody, we appreciate you hitting us up. Guys, we're rolling through fall camp, going through quickly here as we'll have more updates over the next couple weeks with fall camp. You can follow me on X, keep up with all the latest if you want any fall camp news. Kelsey_Huffine. Of course, follow the show on X as well, Off the Bench CFB, and you will just to keep up with the show entirely from there. You can do that as well. Of course, off next week. You can join us the week after, though, for a week before, 1 week removed from week 0, as we go right into the college football season. 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM. Jocks Huntsville. This has been the Off the Bench College Football Show. We will see you guys in a couple weeks.